Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidanand Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Tune master. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada नाम संकीर्तन की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
There's some very simple procedures that go along with installing a deity, and we've kind of simplified the simple procedures, which is fine because the principle is there. Bathing of the deities, they're upstairs, getting cleansed and dressed and ornamented and crowns and everything. Well, we're going to speak something about deity worship. In the morning, we've been reading from Canto 2, Chapter 3, Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 2 is beginning of a response to a series of questions that was asked by Shukadeva Goswami, asked of Shukadeva Goswami by Maharaj Parikshit. And this begins, Canto 2 begins describing stages of God realization. The first stage is forming a concept of God by seeing features of material nature, the universal form. It's a beginning. And then there's a transition from seeing God within nature or the universal form to seeing God within the heart of every living entity. And that's chapter 2. And then those that are engaged in that process of meditation on the Lord in the heart, it's advised that they then transition to the Bhagavan feature. So the Vishvarup, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So chapter 3 is focusing on the Bhagavan feature, the personal feature. And the way to access the personal feature is through the medium of devotional service. So in the morning session, we're discussing the principles, some of the principles of devotional service. And in this section that I'm going to be reading from, it's then describing the way of devotional service is that which is given to us by God, our human faculties, our sense of sight, our sense of walking, the capacity to walk, mobility, the hands, everything, the senses and the sense organs are to be used in devotional service. Everything is to be used in devotional service. And text 22. So I'm reading from Canto 2, Chapter 3, text 22. And the translation reads, "The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead, parentheses, his forms, name, quality, etc., those eyes are like those printed on the plumes of a peacock. And the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks." That's the verse. And the purport, Prabhupada speaks significantly about deity worship. Especially for householder devotees. There's a few householder devotees here. The path of deity worship is strongly recommended. As far as possible, every householder, by the direction of the spiritual master, must install the deity of Vishnu. Forms like Radha Krishna, Lakshmi Narayana, or Sitaram especially, or any other forms of the Lord like Nrsimha, Varaha, Gornatai, Matsya, Kurma, Shalagram Shila, and many other forms of Vishnu like Trivikram, Keshava, Achyuta, Vasudeva, Narayana, and Damodar, as recommended in the Vaishnava tantras or Puranas, and one's family should worship strictly following directions and regulations of Archana Vidhi. Archana Vidhi means the regulations of deity worship. Archana Vidhi. Vidhis means rules. Archana Vidhi is the rules of deity worship. Any member of the family who is above 12 years of age should, this isn't followed so strictly, should be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, and all the members of the household should be engaged in the daily service of the Lord, beginning from morning, parentheses, 4 a.m., till night, 10 p.m., by performing Mangala Arti, Niranjana, Archana, Puja, Kirtana, Shringara, Bhoga Vaikali, Sandhya Aratik, Pata, Bhoga at night, Shayana Arati, etc. Engagement in such worship of the deity under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master will greatly help the householders to purify their very existence and make rapid progress in spiritual knowledge. Simple theoretical book knowledge is not sufficient for a neophyte devotee. Book knowledge is theoretical, whereas the archana process is practical. Spiritual knowledge must be developed by a combination of the theoretical and practical knowledge, and that is the guaranteed way of attainment of spiritual perfection. The training of devotional service for a neophyte devotee completely depends on the expert spiritual master who knows how to lead his disciple to make gradual progress towards the path back home, back to Godhead. One should not become a pseudo-spiritual master as a matter of business to meet one's family expenditures, semicolon. One must be an expert spiritual master to deliver the disciple from the clutches of impending death. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has defined the bona fide qualities of a spiritual master, and one of the verses in that description reads, many of you know the verse, you can say it with me if you know the verse. Shivigrahara dhananityanana Shringaratan mandira marjanado Yasyatam chaniyunjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. Shri Vigraha is the archa, or suitable worshipable form of the Lord, and the disciple should be engaged in worshiping the deity regularly. He goes through the list again. Shringara, by proper decoration and dressing, as also by mandira marjana, the matter of cleansing the temple. The spiritual master teaches the neophyte devotee all these kindly and personally to help him gradually in the realization of the transcendental name, quality, form, etc. of the Lord. That was one long paragraph. And then here's the second paragraph. Only attention engaged in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing and decorating the temple, accompanied by musical kirtan and spiritual instructions from the scriptures, can save the common man from the hellish cinema attractions and rubbish sex songs broadcast everywhere by radios. Of course, that was some time ago. Radios was a nice medium, and now it's become far more pervasive than radios. If one is unable to maintain a temple at home, he should go to another's temple, where all the above performances are regularly executed. Visiting the temple of a devotee and looking at the profusely decorated forms of the Lord, well dressed in a well-decorated, sanctified temple, naturally infuse the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration. Then that's the hands and eyes. Then comes the legs. People should visit holy places like Vrindavan, where such temples and worship of the deity are specifically maintained. Formerly all rich men, like kings and rich merchants, constructed such temples under the direction of expert devotees of the Lord like the 6 Goswamis. And it is the duty of the common man to take advantage of these temples and festivals observed in holy places of pilgrimage by following in the footsteps of great devotees. Parentheses, Anuvraja. Anuvraja. One should not visit all these sanctified pilgrimage places and temples with sightseeing in mind, but one must go to such temples and sanctified places immortalized by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord and be guided by proper men who know the science. This is called Anuvraja. Anu means to follow. It is therefore best to follow the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master, even in visiting temples and the holy places of pilgrimage. One who does not move in that way is as good as a standing tree, condemned by the Lord not to move. The moving tendency of the human being is misused by visiting places for sightseeing. The best purpose of such traveling tendencies could be fulfilled by visiting the holy places established by great acharyas, and thereby not being misled by the atheistic propaganda of money-making men who have no knowledge of spiritual matters. I like this purport. It's a fundamental instruction, specifically Prabhupada is saying here, for householders. And of course, it's not only for householders, but especially for householders. Now, why especially for householders? There's a few things. To be a householder, to be in household ashram, grahastha ashram, there has to be a griha. There has to be a home. And for the home, generally is a place to reside and etc., like family. And so for the home, where you reside and you cook and you this and you that and you have family members, there has to be earning or some means of livelihood. And so how grahastha means contact with money and member of the opposite sex. Generally speaking, householder life includes all these things. So now those contact with those things commonly results in affinity to, attachment to, identification with those things. And it becomes one's life, its I and mine. And so to spiritualize, we discussed this a little bit in the morning class, to spiritualize such tendency, there are several things recommended. I mean, one of them is charity. But then charity towards what? Charity for Krishna. And there's ways to do that. And one of the ways to do that is establish deity worship. And then expenditure goes and attention goes to the deity. Some years ago, I didn't travel by airplane. I traveled by van. Had an old Econoline Ford van. And zoom, traveled around that way. So one of the places that I visited was in Memphis, Tennessee. And one of the places I visited in Memphis, Tennessee was the home of Dr. Rao, medical doctor. And when I visited his home, I heard him answer the phone. Krishna's house. And he had 2 sons, grown-up sons, living in the home. I mean, with jobs and everything, but living in the home. And they answered the phone, Krishna's house. Because he had bhakti. He had some training. And it was notional in one sense, but it was meaning, I'm sure his name was on the deed, Dr. Rao. But his consciousness is, although the house is in my name, it's Krishna's house. And you just check the box, and is there something that's not from Krishna? The answer, everything is from Krishna, whatever it is. This table is from Krishna. The house is from Krishna. The kitchen is from Krishna. The items, everything is Krishna's. And therefore, since it belongs to Krishna, it's to be used in his Krishna service. So Krishna's house for Krishna's service. One family just finalized a contract, and they now moving into a new house. It's like, yay. So, any instructions? See, the house is Krishna's house. That's very simple. And what does that mean? Well, it starts with consciousness, and then you find those that are Krishna conscious householders who also have a house. It's in their name, but their understanding is it's Krishna's house. And if you put a deity in Krishna's house, it's a temple. There's houses everything belongs to Krishna, but where there's a deity belongs to Krishna. It's Krishna's house, and the deity's house. Prabhupada once said, more than once, multiple times, said in lectures, we're in a residential neighborhood, and we call this a temple. We call that place and that place houses or homes. So what makes this a temple? It's where Krishna is, or where kirtan is, where the deity is, where there's hearing of Krishna Katha. Just like, I'm going to mention it because it's coming up really soon, Friday, Mokshada Ekadasi. And it's the day that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, Mokshada, the giver of moksha, Ekadasi. And all over the world, probably in Connecticut also, part of the world, there's a lot of focus on making an effort to give Bhagavad Gita to people that may not have it, or have them sponsor for people that don't have it, and so forth and so on. Nice. So when we have a Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam in the home, it sanctifies the home, like the deity sanctifies the home. When the deity is at the center, I'll give a little description. I don't have still have a copy. Someday if I run across it again, I'll let other people know. There was a Bhagavad Gita class that Prabhupada gave, and during the course of the class, he described his daily household activity, because he was a householder too. And The description goes like this. Rise early in the morning. First thing, say the name of your deity and your spiritual master. You call their name, first thing. Then, next thing, you go to make the outside clean. So take bath, fresh cloth, tilak, names of Vishnu, Om Keshavaya Namaha, and then, etc. And then make the inside of the body clean. Then he described the first thing, after the body is clean, you go to the temple room. And the first thing you do when approaching the temple room is make the temple clean. Mandira Marjana. The place, it's already clean, but you make it clean because it's the first thing you do to make it nice, make it clean. And then the various procedures as described in this purport for deity worship, whatever your capacity is. And it can be very simple, it can be medium, it can be elaborate. But whatever it is, it should be according to standards, not something imagined. And then he described cooking. So he described a little bit more about the cooking. When you cook, you like to cook things that you like. But before you cook the thing that you like, you have to go buy the things that you like. So if you earn money and you buy the things that Krishna likes, and that's the consciousness. It's Krishna's money. Let me use Krishna's money to buy things that Krishna likes, which means immediately there's a certain category of things that you won't purchase and another category of things that you will purchase. And you want the nice ones because it's not just for your family members or yourself, it's for Krishna. So it's just even the spending of money, the earning of money, the spending of money, then you bring it home, the groceries, etc. And then again, clean. You make it clean. You wash the vegetables and you wash the fruits and etc., etc. And then the preparation begins and you're cooking for Krishna. So along with the worship of the deity form, there's the cooking for Krishna part. And then the eating is a natural bodily function. But before you eat, you offer to your deity. And the offering to the deity, as it comes in a certain sequence, after doing other things for the deity. And then the offering, and then the accepting of prasad. And then he, of course, the chanting of the holy name. And then off one goes, he described, off to work. And coming home, see the deity, offer obeisances before the deity. There may be some more chanting to do, and then you hear from the scripture. So in this way, Prabhupada describing this is a classic, he called it a Krishna conscious sandwich. There's the bread on this side, there's the bread on that side, is what goes in the middle, the sandwich. So the hearing and chanting and worshiping is this side and that side. And then there's what your daily activities are. But the daily activities aren't minus the rest of the sandwich. And it spiritualizes. So deity worship is important for householders because it spiritualizes the contact one has with material resource. Instead of thinking it mine, you think it insists one to think it belongs to Krishna. Doesn't guarantee, but it assists one to think that way. And as one cultivates bhakti, one thinks that way. Another reason that Srila Prabhupada gave is the deity has form, and the tendency to be attached to form is spiritualized by attachment to the deity form. It's psychology and it's philosophy, but as he's writing here in this purport, it's practical. There's the philosophy that's theoretical, and then there's the worship that's practical. The conception of a body or form transferred to the deity form. And the identification with the deity form helps one spiritualize one's conception of I and mine, of where there's form, my body and my wife or husband's body and children's body. And so spiritualize the conception. It's a great assist to spiritualize consciousness. Again, as he's saying twice here in the purport, especially for householders. And a large part of society are householders, or will be householders at some point in life, largely. And so these are very relevant instructions. Of the, I'm sure you know, but I'll just say it anyways, Rupa Goswami gives teachings in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or Nectar Devotion, about how to perform the bhakti process, details and details. And one section, he identifies activities that are particularly beneficial to awaken the soul's tendency for bhakti. 64 items. He lists them and then describes how to do them. Of those 64, there are 5 that are said to be so powerful that if done without offense, small matter, but done without offense, there's potency in those 5 things to immediately awaken Bhava Bhakti. Immediately, that means immediately above this practice stage to the Bhava stage. That's very high. So the deity worship is one of those 5 things. There's potency, special potency invested in that activity. And the deity worship goes well with the others. Serving the devotees of the Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in a sacred place. Here, in the verse it's mentioned, going on pilgrimage. Just from reading from our acharyas, I'm not so familiar with the volume, but our acharyas say there's volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes of references in the Puranas of the benefits of visiting this holy place and that holy place. Tirthas are very significantly important, as mentioned here, places where the Supreme Lord performs his pastimes, or his dear devotees have executed eons and stretches of time of elevated devotional service. Just before coming here, I was going through a presentation I'll be making with the Chinese devotees on Canto 10, Chapter 86. And Chapter 1086 has 2 parts. It's Arjuna kidnapping Subhadra, which is very exciting, filled with intrigue. And then right after that, without a prompt of being asked a question, because much of what Shukadeva Goswami speaks about is answering a question, but he starts speaking about Krishna's visit to the kingdom of Bahulashva. Same, Chapter 86. And the reason he goes to King Bahulashva was a descendant of Janak Maharaj in the same kingdom, Videha. So it's far away from Dwarka all the way to the Videha, the kingdom of Janaka. It's a whole journey. But he went because the king, he knew, being the Supreme Lord, the recipient of his worship and love, the king was unable to come visit Krishna in Dwarka because he was so fastidiously involved in worshiping his deity of Krishna in Videha. It wasn't a deity of Ram. the kingdom of Janaka, one might think it might be a Ram deity, was the deity of Krishna. And he was so attached to his worship of his deity of Krishna that he couldn't get away. I mean, like, not just had a Brahmin do the worship, the king did the worship. He's very attached. It's very nice, very sweet. So Krishna went to see him, knowing the intensity of his love and devotion. And it turns out that in the same kingdom, there was a Brahmana of the same caliber. And his name was Shrutadev. So Krishna went to see both of them. It's really nice. It's like a whole nice chapter. And when Krishna went, he went with a whole entourage. It wasn't just ministers and warriors. It was the list of 30 great, elevated, saintly personalities. It's a long list. Without, Narada and Chavana Muni and this one, that one, Bhardraj Muni, this one, that one. They all traveled with Krishna. And as they traveled, they went from place to place, benedicting the people of those various places. It was part of the plan. But specifically, the target was Mahalashva and Shrutadev. So when they got there, Krishna and the sages, wonderful reception, etc., 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 and both approached Krishna at the same time. Both requested Krishna, come visit my home. So Krishna didn't have to say yes to one and no to the other. He divided himself into two Krishnas. And two Krishnas simultaneously manifest in the two different places. And so what I'm getting to is, when he met with Shrutadev was really poor. Pure Brahmanas don't have to be poor. He was very poor. He couldn't receive, he had to ask neighbors for straw mats to sit on, because, and proper water and proper food to feed all his guests. And then there was a time, they got some time after having their meal and all that, and worshiping and sprinkling water on his head and his family, because he was a householder. Sanctified water, having washed Krishna's feet, they had some discussion. And Shrutadev then said many, many, many nice things, recognizing Krishna's divinity. And one of the things he said was, I know that one of your manifestations is Narayan Rishi. And Narayan Rishi is celebrated for performing austerities in Badrinath. And he does that for the benefit of all living beings. Although he's in one location, his austerities for the benefit of the whole world. And you're going to be going back to Dwarka, and there's so much opulence in Dwarka. Why don't you stay with me? Because I have nothing. It's like living in Badrinath. And you'll be very happy because you like austerities. Krishna is very pleased. So the holy places are not just a place where there's austerities, although there are places that are more austere, like Badrinath is an austere place. I'm mentioning this in part because I was really interested to read this evening, because I'm planning to take a group of devotees during Kartik time next year, 2024, to Badrinath. And it's being very carefully planned out by devotees that know when to go, when it's not too cold and not too risky with mudslides, and not to this and not to that. There's a kind of a narrow window of time when you can go. Anyway, so you're invited to come if you want to come. And I've never been there. Probably I won't do it more than once in this lifetime. But it's a very special place. I'm going with Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, who has been there several times, a dear God brother, and I'm sure we'll have a transcendental time together and with whoever else comes. But it's on the topic of holy places, because that's the second half of this purport verse. Going to holy places has a big place in Scripture. This benefit, that benefit, this holy place, that holy place. It's because the whole of the Vedas is meant for elevation of consciousness and purification of the contaminations of the coverings. And after the removal or diminishing of the coverings, the awakening of dormant Krishna consciousness. And holy places have a capacity to do that. So worshiping the deity form, and because that's one of the items of the 5 most important items residing in a sacred place, like Vrindavan, Mathura, one of the holy places where the Lord performs his pastimes. It's very special, special, special. And if one can't live there, according to our writings of our Goswamis, if you can't live there, that's ideal. If you can't live there, then mentally reside there. Mentally reside there means you hear substantially about those places and the Lord and his activities in those places, and the mind becomes infused with remembrance of those places. So mentally you reside there, if you can't live there. But then periodically going to such places, because it's purification, it's certainly a recommended thing for householders to do, certainly a recommended thing for anyone in any ashram to do, visit holy places. And one of the main things of the holy places is not sightseeing, but hearing from the sadhus who reside there, not just a tour guide, but hearing from the sadhus that reside there, because it's not about tourism, it's about purification. Are you aware of the 2 youth yatras that are being conducted during the Christmas holiday? Are you at all aware? Are you attending one of them? Okay, for those of you that would want to know, there's 2. You know, it's sometime you have children, if your children are of the age where they can go, it's nice if they can go, because the 2 groups are really good. One is being led by Vaisheshika Prabhu. You heard his name. Vaisheshika Prabhu is a wonderful grahasta preacher and champion of book distribution. And he's leading a group, he's calling it Global Youth Retreat. They got an acronym, GYR. So I know a number of young people that are going, and they're going to Mayapur for some time, and then shift over to Vrindavan for some time. So it's just during the holiday time when kids are out of school, instead of doing goofy things, they're going to the Holy Dham. Or whatever they might do, not just goofy things, but something other than this particular purification. And there's another group going, as far as I know, going to Vrindavan, and it's led by a group that's based in London, and they have another acronym, TSI. What does TSI stand for? Transcendental Sangha Institute? Initiative, that's right. Transcendental Sangha Initiative. They're from different places, but there's a strong group in London participating. And there's a really nice sannyasi, young sannyasi, a superlative speaker and charismatic person, and make things that are very elevated, very simple, and a very gifted person. He's leading that and organized by the TSI folks. You know, younger generation devotees. So for going to the holy places for pilgrimage, for purification. So it's one of the 5 most potent, and it's not just tourism, but hearing and appreciating, savoring the pastimes of the Lord and the teachings given in those places. So back to deity worship. It is one of the 5 most potent. It's especially beneficial for householders, recommended for householders. So the teaching is already here. Do it in your home. If you can't do it in your home for some reason, then go to another's home. It's not he doesn't give if possible, is go or install deities in your home. And then do all these regulations, because the vidhis, they help in purification. If when done properly, with proper guidance, they lead to 2 things: purification and elevation. The contamination becomes reduced, and the awakening of pure consciousness becomes more prominent. So, are they waiting for me to finish? Huh? So, see if the deities are ready. This is the standard procedure. While after the bathing, someone takes care of the deities to get them ready to come, and then we invite them to come and perform arti. And that's our installation program. Along with nice kirtan. Thank you for your nice kirtan. Any discussion?
Yeah, you spoke about living in holy places, right?
Yeah.
In Nectar of Instruction also says
Yes.
everyone should live in Mathura. So
Or Vrindavan.
Yeah. So how is it important for everybody to, live in holy places?
Live, or if you can't live, then visit and mentally live.
Okay.
And why is it important? It's important to purify one's consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, everyone cannot live in holy places.
That's correct. That's correct. It's not that everyone can live there, but it's a general everyone advice or instruction. The general advice or instruction is to come to that stage of your life where you can. Now, do you know some people your age that are contemplating when they get a little older and their duties in the world are a little more, completed, they plan to move to a holy place? I know some people planning to move to Mayapur. I know some people planning to move to Vrindavan. I know some people planning to move to Puri. There are probably some other places that people are planning to, but it's, first is go to visit, and on a periodic basis go to visit. No, those places get populated. That's your point. Everyone? And how big is the place? So it's a directional, and not everyone's going to do it anyways. Although it may say everyone, not everyone's going to do it anyways, for a variety of reasons, practical and other reasons. They're not so inclined. They're very content being where they are. I'll give it a little example. I have one of my dear god brothers who loves Vrindavan very much is Burijan. You've heard his name before? Burijan Prabhu.
Yeah, the author of the book, right?
Yes, the author of the book.
Yeah.
He authored a couple of books.
Yeah.
Okay. So he loves Vrindavan, and his wife loves Vrindavan. Her name is Jagatarini. Right now, they're in Vrindavan. They built a retreat center called Govardhan Retreat Center. And that's where they are, with a retreat group of people, maybe a few hundred people. but their home, they have a place that when they stay in Vrindavan, they have a place where they stay. But their home is in New Zealand or Australia. I think New Zealand, somewhere over there. So they don't live in Vrindavan, although they know the importance of living in Vrindavan. They have a home. They have a place, I believe it's in the MVT in Vrindavan. But, they have duties and they have things they do and activities. And so they don't full-time live there. Anyway, that's just a for example. That they understand the importance. They invest significant time in their heart. Like the T-shirt, I left my heart in Vrindavan. Even when they're not in Vrindavan, they're in Vrindavan. Your question is overpopulation, overcrowded, and sewage and everything else, right?
Yeah, sometimes our work, sometimes our commitment doesn't allow to go and.
That's okay. So it's okay. Then mentally.
Yeah.
Look, I'm very soon turning 75. I don't live in Vrindavan. I live in an airplane. But my heart's in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Through the Srimad Bhagavatam primarily. So don't worry about it. If you can, and if you can't, mentally. So how do you do it mentally? Briefly described. Read the lives of the Goswamis. Read the lives of the persons who resided there and wrote their books there, and made the world remember what they had forgotten, that they're places of Krishna's pastimes, etc., etc., etc. It's abundant. Then you mentally reside in Vrindavan. What do you think?
Yeah, that's
it's okay. That
possible.
fits. That fits.
That's
Okay.
Thank you much.
Yes.
Are there any names for the deities?
Yes. What else? I'll do. Don't worry.
Maharaj, so the question is about the deity service.
Uh-huh.
So I am a Brahman.
Okay, nice.
And I used to do deity worship in the temple. But then because of my work, now I stopped because I have to go early in the morning. And now I feel separation, like I'm missing that. Early mornings, worshipping the shaligrams, Abhishek, performing Abhishek, and reciting Brahma Samhita and all. I'm missing it. Now I can't do the morning service. Evening service is okay, but then I'm very tired. But I'm feeling that separation. I don't know.
Are you staying at home or in the temple or both?
In the temple.
In the temple.
In the morning, I just don't have any time because I have to make...
What about in your home? Can you do
in my
replace
home, I don't have deities, but I have Jagannath Ji.
Well, that's deities.
Yes, like... I don't mean, like... Yeah. So, the point is, morning I cannot because I have to make lunch, breakfast, and dinner.
Wait a minute. You say cannot, and I say, wait a minute. And you may not be able to get in your car and go to the temple and do the worship in the temple, but you could do it in your home. You can't say I don't have time. Do you brush your teeth? You could say I don't have time. I've got so much to do. I don't have time to brush my teeth. You get the idea. It's time management, and you may, work and responsibility, cooking and thising and thating. So deity worship in the home can be quite simple, depending upon the time and the propensity, etc. And you may not be in the temple, but it can be in your heart and in your home. And that, it's not a one-to-one trade, but it's essentially the same purpose. And you will find, as many persons who do deity worship in their home, they become attached to their deity in their home, like the deity in the temple. And how many? I mean, gosh, these evening programs that I go to, it takes a half an hour here and 45 minutes there. You know, they're all over the place. And how many can go to the temple in the morning? And so in your home, not just you. You know, Prabhupada's writing for the world and saying in the home. And so don't say excuse me, but not that you don't have time. It's just make it a priority, and there's a way to do it. Here's how you do it. You want to know how to do it? Time management. And the time management goes like this. Really simple. You know, a kid can do this one. Here's a glass jar. Next to the glass jar is a big rock. Next to the big rock is some smaller rocks. Next to those are pebbles. Next to that is sand. 4 things. And they all fit into the glass jar. What goes in first? The big rock. Don't put in the sand first. Put the big rock first. What's the big rock? Your morning Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam. That's the big rock. And then you manage your time to do the big rock, however it works for you. And there's a way to streamline and simplify, but the basic, just like the bathing that we did, very simple. It can take hours, or it can take it's principle. And so what's important with the principle is the devotion. So your attachment, you're feeling separation from, can be in your home, and just in principle, and keep it simple. That matches your capacity time-wise, but it's the big rock. And when you can, whatever that is, on weekends maybe, or something, you get in your car and you go to the temple. But otherwise, then the anchor, the root that goes into the soil is in your home. And that's the big rock that nourishes your bhakti tendencies. It's suited to your nature. Don't say I can't.
He goes to temple every day, and then
Okay,
I don't get to go to.
Good for him.
That's why I'm so jealous of him, because
That's
one day he should stay at home, and then I'll go to temple. Every
No, you don't
day.
want him to stay at home so you can go to the temple, because you got your duties to do. Yeah. So at least one of you gets to go. And that's glorious. Celebrate. And you do your deity worship at home. And be happy.
Okay, Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Something else. Okay, we'll move on to Arti. When I say the Prema Dwani prayers, you will hear the name. I thought of the name early this morning. Keep the name in the box for now. Okay, are we ready? Arti?
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhitesha Shanyavadi Paschata Desatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunya Paschata Detatarinim Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Vivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Astatarasatasi Srimad Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakund, Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Ganga Mai ki, Yamuna Mai ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Rihat Radanga Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki, Sambheda Bhakta Vrinda ki, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ji ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ji ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ji ki Jai.
Namaste Narasingaya. Praladadadahine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Silakankanakalaya. Ito na Simho, parato na Simho. Yato yato yami tato na Simho. Mahe Singho, Hridaye Singho, Madhim Sharanam Prapade, Avakara Kamala Vare Nakha, Madhuta Shringa, Dalita Hiranya Kashipu, Danu Bringa. Keshavarita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Nashim Hare Jaya 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 Bala Bala Jaya Bala Tara Jaya Bala Tara Jaya Bala Tara Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Narasimha Bhagwan ki Jai.
His Holiness Ramapada Swami Maharaj ki